Hey folks, welcome back to Heather's Mixed Media Studio. As you can see, there's stuff all over my desk, like usual. There's usually stuff all over my desk. I just spent a little bit of time doing one of those take a toilet paper roll and flatten it into a box. So that's how far we got. I'm not really sure if I want to make it a box that closes or if I want to leave it a box that's open to slide things into. Also not really sure what I'm going to slide into it. They're not quite the right size for the credit card project, although I suppose I could round it out. Anyway, it's just ever so slightly too skinny for that. So I don't know. I may not put anything in it. It might just be a thing that lives on my desk until I can come up with a plan for it. I do have these little plastic shaping tools that don't really have a good home. They could potentially live there. I don't know. I don't have a plan. I just wanted to make a quick thing, and that's the quick thing that I made today. This video is probably not going to be super long today. I mostly just wanted to kind of show off some of the things I've been on, that I've been working on. This is a super secret project. It's actually for the March swap on Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artists, and they're all upside down right now because they're done, but I don't want to show them in the video until after the recipient has received them, and then I can show you guys the making of. These were all scraps that might have been part of it. Pardon me. But I elected not to go with the glitter because I wasn't really sure. Some people love glitter, some people hate it. So it was better just to err on the side of maybe not this time. This is some really tactile paper that it turns out I have. And I did some dyeing with this paper where you color this side. And it made a really interesting pattern on this side. So I may do that again with the rest of this scrap. And then these are just some other spare scraps that were on my desk. Yeah, I was trying to pull those out of here so that I would have a clean desk to actually shoot a video with. And then this is another piece of scrap paper that I have. And I think what I'm going to do with this is actually color it, as opposed to dyeing it. I'm not sure. I mean, the paper, you're supposed to use it the way it is. And if I were doing a black and white montage, obviously this would go on it. But since it's, looks coloring book-like, I could color it as if it were a coloring book page. I'm considering doing that. That's why that's hanging out here. Another thing I've done in the last couple of days is apparently stack things on top of each other over here and making it a little less convenient to actually show you anything. I had bought a series of stencils. They were low cost. I must have got them at the craft reuse store. And every single one of them, had whatever their central motif was and came with this great big square thing around it. So they're all this size, like 12 by 12. It's like they expect you to use it with a pad of those, great big sheets. They're all that size. And I don't tend to work at that size. I tend to work at 8.5 by 11, 5 by 7, right around there, or smaller, ATCs 23 and 2.5 by 3.5 inches. And so anything this huge is just going to be too big. Also, I don't want to waste the corner space. I'm not into the hard edges, and it's such a big area of bleh that I wanted all of them to not have that. And so I spent the weekend cutting all of those off. This is the only one that I kept kind of intact. In part so I could show you this, most of them I've cut in 4 spaces, and that's left me with a bunch of corner pieces. And so those corner pieces, I've kept some of those as well, because this is a decent amount of plastic that I can turn into smaller bits to potentially use as masks or whatever. Mask versus stencil, as I understand it, a mask is when you want the white space underneath to be the important thing. A stencil is when you want the blank spaces in between to be the important thing. That's effectively the only difference, really. And so these are a bunch of the pieces that I kept out. Either things that I cut off of a stencil, that's what these were. These were all part of a stencil, and I decided I didn't like them on that particular stencil. So I cut them off, but decided to keep them because they're a nice free-falling leaf sort of shape that I could just put anywhere on a stencil. And on another stencil, it created a bunch of these little bits, and I kept those. I might not use them because I think they're going to be really fiddly to mess with on a gel plate. But I did keep all of those little bits, and they've got their own little baggie here that they're going to live in. But here are some of the ones that I worked with. This one, other than cutting off the outer edge, I also punched these holes in every other space, and I put this center hole in. It's not a great cut. I'm terrible at cutting things by hand, but particularly circles and the like, and I don't have like a hole punch. I've got a standard sized hole punch, but I don't have like a circle punch. So I did the best I could with what I got. This one came out okay. Eventually I'll throw that on my large gel plate. Then this one, the main change to this one was the centerpiece. This was all one solid thing, and I didn't like that. So I punched holes in each of the leaf shapes and then cut a diagonal space, like a tie shape, in toward that center circle and left that center circle whole. I was going to put another tiny hole like that in the center, but I think that centerpiece got so small I didn't want to change it. So I altered that one. This one, I believe, is where these little leaf shapes came off of. They were out here on each of these, and I didn't like the look of that. I like how this has a very, I mean, they're all kind of floral, but this actually looks like a believable floral in my head. So I liked this kind of as a flower, and by taking those off, it's smaller than the other ones too, which means it'll probably fit on an 8.5 by 10 or 8 by 10. I don't know what size plate that is. It'll probably fit actually on that plate where most of these are just a hair too big. This one had this interesting shape here. I did cut something off. I think I cut the connection. Oh, yes, there was one more arch here, and then that arch was solid on the way up. And so rather than making a double paned arch here, I cut this whole piece off, and now these are free floating. If I decide I don't like these, I can cut these off and then just have this straightforward sort of floral shape. I don't know, it remains to be seen. There's also potential to cut either this piece off or this entire round off and have just this really basic floral shape. There was no centerpiece to this one, so it's very airy, with the exception of these outer pieces. I may yet trim these down here so that they're, more line-shaped as opposed to having some blank space under it. I don't know. We'll work on it. What I am learning is that alter your stencils. It's fine. Nobody cares. This one would have had a point. Actually, this whole thing was surrounded by a solid outer edge, and I created the edge all the way around this thing. And then just cut away with the rest of it. So this one turned out pretty good too. I don't think I'll alter this one any further necessarily. So yeah, there was a lot of stencil altering that happened. The super secret project got worked on. The tiny box got made. Honestly, that may have been all that happened this week, which is kind of sad. I just didn't spend a whole lot of time here. I wasn't, I've been working 50 plus hour weeks. Um, and then when I had some time to do some art, a lot of the altering of the stencils kind of takes some time for me. And my partner was asleep, so I couldn't really work on anything that was going to make any noise. He sleeps very light, and I don't want to wake him up, and he sleeps very erratically too. And then the super secret project took a fair amount of time as well. There's a lot of circles involved, and the way I do my circles, I don't have like a Cricut or anything like that. I didn't invest in circle punches because there are so many circles in my life anyway. This is a Parmesan cheese lid. This is a rocket apple tube lid. If you've never had rocket apples, they're amazing. They're one of the more expensive ones out there right now, but they are delicious, and they are a serving of fruit size, which means it's like as opposed to like yeah. So anyway, that circle, and then this is the top of a Pepcid AC bottle, and it fits really nicely next. Standard medicine case bottle, over-the-counter medicine case bottle. Top of a salt and pepper grinder shaker something, and so it's got a circle on the bottom and a circle on the top, and they're two different sizes. And standard, pop bottle lid. And so I've got a nice matryoshka here of circles. And then if I need something smaller, I've got a couple smaller round things that are around, and I can use those. So if you don't have tools the way I don't tend to have tools, and you need things, you just use what you have around you. If I need a circle bigger than this one, yeah, the outside and the inside of this both work. So yeah, I was working with those over the weekend. And then I have a whole baggie off to the side here that I keep all of my, I'm going to call that a stencil, things that I draw around. So that happened. I have a project I want to make because I've been amassing this little pile here. Pull my little pile forward of, and I don't think this is all of them either, of gel prints that are not gel prints. Pull sheets from gel prints that are on wet strength tissue paper. And I don't really know kind of what to do with them. And it occurred to me today that it might be interesting to take a bunch of them and weave them. Because once you glue them together, I think they're going to show really interesting patterns. I want to treat it kind of like paper weaving, but then once you glue it together, all those colors should see through to each other, I think. So that's a thing I want to do. And possibly, yes, I do have a bunch more pull sheets. I knew that I did. I even have some from people that aren't me. And so that could be even cooler, except for this one. I refuse to use that one for anything. Yeah, no, I knew I had more of these in here. Yoink! I have a whole bunch of these. And then this includes some that I got from P&M at PM Artist Studios. So potentially that. I haven't made up my mind what I'm doing with the stuff I got from them yet. So that's been sitting in a drawer waiting for my brain to go, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Things live like that in my house. So what I might do today, and it's probably going to be off camera, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just like not feeling the do things on camera, talking, entertain people. It's been a long day at work. It's snowing out. Roads are hazard. I've been fighting with wind and snow all day. But I hadn't put a video out over the weekend, and I'm going to leave you guys hanging. So I wanted to show you what's been going on. So I think I am going to cut a bunch of these down into strips and do some weaving with them, and then glue them down and see if that does a transparency weaving plaid kind of thing like I think it might do. And I still think this has the coolest like Japanese look to it. I am just not prepared to turn this into anything else. It's gonna go with something Japanese. I don't know what yet. But this page has plans. It doesn't know it has plans because it's paper, but it does. It has plans. So anyway, that's all the more I'm going to do today is just let you know I have been working on things. There's always projects. Yeah, that's what's going on. And hopefully I'll get more chances to record over the week. And I'll get more time to work on more projects because the list keeps growing, as it always will. Anyway, I hope you all have a great week. I hope the weather is reasonable where you are. I live in Ohio. The weather here is not reasonable. It never is. It's particularly nuts in March, and it's March, and it's being nuts like it always is. And I spend all day out in it. So I'm going to get off of the video here and just chill and do some art of just to bring my brain into normal space. But yes, things are happening in the studio. I will try to put a couple pictures here, show you what I can show you, and I will plan to make something longer and more full of art soon. Have a good evening.